YouTube. I want to thank everyone who wished me a happy birthday. I really appreciate all the accolades that were sent my way. You really made my day. Especially that YouTube video that was done by Mimi. I really love that. Maybe wanted some of them bakeries. They look delicious. Like I said, I want to thank you. I appreciate it. And by the way, I got about 6 or 7 more days of this radiation treatment. And that part of things will be over with. And I want to thank you all for your prayers. I received it, and the Lord received it, and I'm going to be okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, to start of Black History Month, I found someone that I think you ought to know about. This is a brief biography of a man I truly admired, that during the first half of the 20th century was known around the world, and today hardly anyone knows of his trials, accomplishments, or life. His name was Paul Robeson. He was born April 9th, 1898. Paul Robeson was a perfect example of the 20th century Renaissance man. He stood 6'3", but he was a man of brain and brawn. He was an exceptional athlete, an actor, singer, cultural scholar, and a political activist. His talents made him a revered man of his time, but unfortunately, his political beliefs all but erased him from popular history. Today, after 100 years since his birth, he's starting to receive the credit he is definitely due. Paul grew up in Princeton, New Jersey. His father had escaped slavery, and he became a Presbyterian minister. And his mother was from a distinguished Philadelphia family. When Paul was just 17 years old, he was given a scholarship to Rutgers University. There he earned 12 major letters in sports, and after 4 years, he was selected to be the class valedictorian. After graduating, he went on to Columbia University Law School and received his law degree. In the early years of 1920s, he took a job with a New York law firm, but the firm was so full of bigotry and racism, the last straw was when a white secretary would not take dictation for him. He soon left the firm. He returned to his true love, the arts, public speaking. Paul had an exceptional bass voice. It was commanding and very distinct. He found work as an actor. He played the lead role in Eugene O'Neill's All God's Children Got Wings in 1924, and The Emperor Jones in 1925 play, which later he starred in the early 1930s, the movie Emperor Jones, where he is the lead actor among many white actors. Throughout the early 1930s and 1940s, Paul was in plays and movies. His play, Othello, was the longest-running Shakespeare play in Broadway history. It ran for over 300 performances. Paul spoke 15 languages and performed benefits for causes of social justice. He believed the famous have a responsibility to fight for justice and peace, a voice for the voiceless. He was one of the first black men to play serious roles in the primarily white theater. The movie Emperor Jones in 1933, he is the lead actor, and Song of Freedom in 1936, he had the lead role. When he wasn't acting or singing, he devoted his time to his true cause, humanity. He hated to see anyone being mistreated because of their beliefs. Paul, at the height of his popularity, he was a national symbol and a cultural leader in the war against fascism abroad and racism at home. Because Paul spoke out against the unfairness of how the world treats the less fortunate, and Paul was such a good orator, he got the attention of the powers that be. Paul knew that in Europe, a black man was treated like a man. He could go to any restaurant, bathroom, and sit where he pleased. But in America, his own country at that time, in the land of the free, he wasn't, and he knew it. And he spoke out against it. What really got Paul in trouble is when he spoke how the Soviet Union, or Russia at that time, had more freedoms than the good old US of A. Then Senator McCarthy, who was doing a real witch hunt at that time. This was the early 1950s. He was calling out everything and anybody who might be communists. This is how they persecuted Paul. He was blacklisted, could not work. They took his passport, so he could not travel to work even overseas. He fought and filed lawsuit after lawsuit over the injustices he received, but the courts were not in Paul's favor. He eventually retired. The years of fighting and being falsely persecuted finally took their toll. Paul Robeson died January 23rd, 1976. A man you should know. We're finally receiving the credit that is due him. This man made many, many movies back in the 1930s. Most of these were over in England. I mean, he had starring roles. He wasn't no servant in them. And the way he spoke out and the things he did, it was something else. But check him out, Paul Robeson, a speaker, activist, and he really paved the way for so many things that affects us even today. Check him out. I hope you enjoyed this brief little history. There's so much more I could have went into. But he's interesting. Paul Robeson. Thank you. Bye now.